The offseason is here, free agency is as well, and all the free agency talk, of course, begins with Shohei Ohtani. Until he signs, there will be no other domino bigger. With that said, though, there are plenty of other sexy free agents out there, obviously, and you can make a really valid argument that the second most talented and promising free agent on the market is also from Japan, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That dude is a straight up stud. Some of you may have already heard of him, others not, but either way, we're going to all be seeing and learning a lot more of him starting in 2024. Really quick, I'm trying to get to 140,000 subscribers before 2024, so if you enjoy the content and haven't hit that button yet, consider doing so. Thank you. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a 25-year-old starting pitcher in Japan. He's played in the Japanese league his entire career and is finally set to become a free agent and get the opportunity to sign with a team in the US, in the show in Major League Baseball. He's played for the Oryx Buffaloes in Japan for the last 7 years, and his stats are about to blow your mind. His overall win-loss record is 70-29, his career ERA is 1.82, he's racked up 922 strikeouts, has won the Japanese Triple Crown Award 3 times, in fact 3 times in a row, these last 3 years in a row. He's led his league in ERA 3 times, doing the same with the Sawamura Award, the Japanese equivalent of the Cy Young Award. He's a 5-time All-Star, has thrown 2 no-hitters, and I can go on. He's won what seems like countless awards, throws a mid-90s fastball that can get up to 98 to 99 miles an hour frequently, a nasty splitter, a high-spinning curveball, and he knows how to pitch too, not just throw, as each of those pitches went for a strike at least 65% of the time this past season. He knows how to paint and control the strike zone. He's largely been projected by many analysts as the number 2 free agent behind Ohtani, and it's for damn good reason, as you can now see. And he's most definitely going to break the record for a player signing from Japan to the big leagues in terms of money. 10 years ago, the Yankees were responsible for breaking that record after signing Masahiro Tanaka to a 7-year, $155 million contract. Yamamoto is incredibly young, like I said, at just 25 years old. I would argue has higher expectations than Tanaka did at the time of him coming to America, and it's clear that a ton of teams are going to be in the bidding war for Yamamoto, with his contract likely going to be worth at least $200 million. There are teams being thrown around as the favorites already, whether it's the Mets, the Red Sox, I've seen them named the most, but whoever it is, they're going to of course be adding a really good starting pitcher on their roster, and someone who can be a part of that franchise's long-term future. Whether they're in win-now mode, trying to build and win in the near future, whatever the case, he's obviously not going to hurt any team. So how it works is the Oryx Buffaloes will now be putting Yamamoto on the market for MLB teams following the end of the Japanese season, which did just end in an incredibly impressive but also dangerous type of way, which we'll get into soon. But the Buffaloes have now officially announced they will be posting him for MLB teams to sign, and this will take a few days for them to actually file the application and MLB to officially declare Yamamoto a free agent. But once that happens, he will have 45 days to negotiate and sign with a team. So in other words, Yamamoto is basically on the free agent market now. Let the games begin, and although it's not quite the Ohtani hype, as nothing is right now, it's still going to be exciting to see where he goes, how much he signs for, etc. But the way the Japanese season ended for Yamamoto in particular, it's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. Not in a performance way, because he was fantastic to end his already fantastic year, but I'll just give you the context and what exactly happened that made me cringe just a tad bit. Unfortunately for Yamamoto and his Buffaloes, they were just on the losing end of a hard-fought 7-game Japan series, which, is the World Series for Japan. They lost 7-1 in Game 7, and the team who beat them, the Hanshin Tigers, won their first championship in almost 40 years. But before Game 7, there of course came a Game 6, that's kind of how it works, a game in which the Buffaloes had to win in order for a Game 7 to even happen, and they of course did win. Why? Well, the Buffaloes did score 5 runs in Game 6, but the story of the game was Yoshinobu Yamamoto. In Game 1 of this same series, Yamamoto struggled bad, giving up 7 runs on 10 hits, but this time around, the story changed up a bit, as Yamamoto, with his team on the verge of elimination, would pitch a complete game, going all 9 innings and striking out not 1, not 2, or 3, but 14 hitters in the process. Just insanely good stuff and the perfect way to end his season. But it was the pitch count that made me shiver a little bit. Not one of those where I'm over here screaming in terror, I just felt a little chill down my spine. He threw 138 pitches over the course of those 9 innings, and if that wasn't enough, during the late innings, like after he had thrown 89 pitches through 6 innings, Yamamoto didn't just sit down in the dugout and rest his arm. No. He went out in front of his dugout to throw some more and keep his arm loose while his team hit. The game continued, the pitch count climbed with it, and after 8 innings, Yamamoto had thrown 126 pitches with his team up 5-1. Surely, at this point, the Buffaloes can just bring in a reliever, right? Up 5-1, just 3 more outs to get. But when this idea was brought up to the Buffaloes manager, this was his reaction. They actually got it on video, watch.
You serious?
So despite the pretty comfortable lead and high pitch count, Yamamoto went back out for the ninth to get the final 3 outs, 12 plus more pitches, securing the win and pitching a complete game. To me, that's kind of worrisome. I hate to be that guy, I really do. I want to see Yamamoto throw 250 pitches every game. I want to see every good and exciting starting pitcher do that. But if the last 5 years has taught us anything, and really the last 10 to even 20 years, it's that elbow surgery has become more common than the flu. And that's a fact, no need to look it up. Tommy John and just overall elbow surgeries and pitchers having elbow issues has become way too common, and it doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon. Pitchers' elbows, no matter who they are, feel like a ticking time bomb now. They're all walking Tommy John surgeries. It sucks to say, but it's just become the reality. And for Yamamoto to throw that many pitches when you can make a really good argument that it was unnecessary doesn't help stop that trend. Now, yes, of course, it was the Japan series. His team's entire season was on the line. It was the last time he was pitching all year. I get it. Totally. But it's also not like throwing 500 pitches in a single outing is not common for Yamamoto, as he's no stranger to having a high pitch count in his outings. This graphic alone of several games Yamamoto pitched this year has 5 games on it where his pitch count went over 110 pitches, with 2 of those 5 games featuring at least 120 pitches. Do I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to sign with a team and then have his elbow blow up immediately after? No, I don't. But for him to be throwing this many pitches obviously is not the best way to prevent that from happening. And although yes, elbow injuries and overall arm injuries for pitchers is a risk for any team signing any pitcher, Yamamoto in his history screams at least a decent amount of risk involved. I hope this guy enters the big leagues, never gets hurt, and wins 5 Cy Young awards. But reality tells us that him being able to stay at least mostly healthy for the entirety of his contract isn't as high as anyone would like, because that really goes for any pitcher, but it's only worse when you have Yamamoto's history of throwing so many pitches in so many of his games. So again, incredible stuff, impressive stuff. Just overall, Yamamoto is an absolute stud, has been his entire professional career up until this point, and ended his Japanese career on the highest of notes. The complete game and 14 strikeouts is what will and should be mostly talked about. But we would be stupid to not also at least mention him throwing almost 140 pitches while also throwing on the side when his team was hitting, along with him having a history of throwing that much overall. Whoever signs him will of course treat him and his arm with care and cautiousness, but it may have to even be a little beyond extra considering what he's been doing in Japan leading up to his big league career that's going to be starting soon. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.